Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for coming back to yet another Core for Coaches. I just want to remind us all of what CORE stands for. So I've been known to be the acronym queen. What does that mean? It means I love acronyms. I love acronyms. I get teased about it all the time. But CORE, in the name of our LinkedIn Live event that we do every Tuesday, CORE stands for Collaborative Opportunities Rising for Everyone. Collaborative Opportunities Rising for Everyone. And I know my team will put that in the chat. And the reason that I titled it, actually, it wasn't just me, it was in partnership with my wonderful co pilot, Malik Fenton. But the reason we titled it as such is because I am big on collaboration. I'm big on collaboration. I know that competition has its place. Absolutely. No shade to competition. And at the same time, I have noticed, I have evidence of how beneficial it can be to an entrepreneur, to your business, to a new coach, an experienced coach in scaling and expanding your business to actually collaborate with other entrepreneurs, collaborate with other coaches. And so in our coach training program, I'm always talking about this. I'm always talking about one of the biggest contributors to me being a successful coach has been community. And I see collaboration as a way to build community, expand community, continue to have and grow community. So anyway, that's my 2 cents around core and around collaboration. And I'm curious, I want to know from you, what does collaboration mean to you? What does collaboration mean to you? And I'm going to pull you all up on my cell phone just so I can see if you make some comments. Okay, what does collaboration mean for you? So I am Sophia Casey, as you know. Well, maybe some of you are new. I'm Sophia Casey. I am a master certified coach, and I'm extra proud of that this week, and I'll tell you why. I'm a master certified coach, an MCC, and I'm so proud of it because it's the highest credential level in the coaching industry. I love being able to say that. I really do. And the reason I'm extra proud of it this week is because I literally just got hot off the press. Well, it's about a week old now. I literally just received my approval of my renewed MCC credential. Yes, if I had some balloons, I would have them all up here. So very, very proud of that. I'm also grateful that a number of coaches have reached out to me to support them around renewing their credential. Why am I excited about that? Well, first of all, I'm excited that they reached out to me. I'm grateful that they see me as a mentor coach that they can trust. But I'm also grateful for it because they're not doing what a lot of people do, which is let their credential lapse. Don't do that, coaches. Don't do that. Don't let your credential lapse. You went through all that time. You spent all that money, right? Getting certified through your coach training program. Then you spent all the time and the resources in being ready to apply for the ICF credential. And then you spent even more time actually getting the credential, right? Making sure that you had those coaching experience hours, making sure that you had the coach training hours, doing all of that practice coaching. So I want to strongly encourage you all, don't let your ICF credential lapse. I'm out here to support you, and I have other mentor coaches who will happily support you well in advance of your renewal date, your renewal deadline. Okay, I'll get off that soapbox for now, but I can't promise you I'm not going to say something about it again in the future. So what are we talking about today in Core for Coaches? So this is our opportunity just for me to come and share some nuggets with you all. I always want to provide value. So I want to hear from you. What types of topics would you like me to come and present to you? So what I've heard a lot from coaches And I also work with a lot of leaders in the public and private sector as well. But what I've heard a lot from coaches is that you all really wanted some support or want some support around the ICF core competencies. Many of you have already gone through a formal coach training program. Some of you are currently in our current coach training program. Some of you are graduates of our program. And I agree with what I keep hearing, which is it's important for us as coaches to be continuous learners, always learning, always being curious, always being committed to strengthening our craft, to strengthening this thing that we love so much called coaching. So I heard you, I heard you, I heard you, and here I am. See what happens when you just ask for something? So I've been asked if I will come and just give some nuggets, some tips, maybe some tools, maybe some templates around the ICF core competencies as you start to pursue your ICF credential, and for those of you who already know your credential, and also for those of you who are thinking, do I want to be a coach? Would I make a great coach? What's the process to be a coach? So I'm also going to answer those type of questions too going forward. But today is the first day that I'm kicking off my conversations around the ICF core competencies. So I want to make sure that you all can hear me and that you're out there, because I know it's a little bit of delay on my end. If you can hear the sound of my voice, will you put the acronym, I told you I'm the queen of acronyms, will you put the acronym ICF in the chat? And I know my team will bring it up here on the screen as well. ICF, ICF, because I want to talk a little bit about that acronym, because I never ever want to assume that, people know what I know, right? And we all speak the same acronym language. So ICF, I'm going to give you a moment just to do that. ICF. Okay, if you put ICF in the comments. All right, I know my team will do that as well. So ICF, what does it stand for? It stands for the International Coaching Federation, the International Coaching Federation. And I like to think about the ICF as our governing body. I always do this every time I say it too. Our governing body for ICF accredited coach training schools. So the ICF created and put out, bear with me a second. I think I'm a little choppy. I'm going to check in with my team here on StreamYard. Am I a little choppy? You can let me know, Malik, in the chat. So if I'm a little choppy, oh yeah, I see it. It is a little choppy and it's a little bit of a delay. All right, I'm going to trust that it's going to work itself out. So the ICF got together, got some brilliant people together to talk about coaching core competencies. Coaching core competencies. Now, way back when, for those of you coaches who are in my generation, you may have remembered there was some other core competencies. I'm going to take that request down off the screen. Please put ICF up and yes, put it in the chat. So you may remember, if you've been in this coaching industry a long time like myself, you may remember years ago that the ICF came out with coaching core competencies, and there were 11 of them. Wait, there are 11 of them, and now we got 8. Is it 11? Is it 8? Is 11? Is it 8? And I get asked that question all the time. Yes, originally there were 11 core competencies. Then the ICF got together a brilliant task force of researchers and coaching experts to actually revamp the ICF core competencies, to make the language in the core competencies more succinct, to align it with what was happening in our industry. And I'm so grateful to say they added a core competency, which I'm going to talk to you about next week, which is core competency number 2, embodying a coaching mindset. I got so excited when I saw that, because I know how important it is as coaches, not just for us to be trained at a high standard so that we can coach clients, right? So that we can support our clients. It's important for us to also take a look over here and do whatever we need to do to make sure that we are bringing the essence of coach, that we are embodying a coaching mindset. So I was really excited about that core competency. I know I'm a nerd about the stuff. Okay, don't judge me. So today I want to dive in just a little bit. I know we just have a little bit of time together today around core competency number one. Core competency number one. And if you can hear the sound of my voice, put a number one in the chat for core competency number one. Core competency number one. Okay. Core competency number one is all about ethics. Okay. I'll say that again. Core competency number one is all about ethics. Anybody know the formal title for core competency number one? I'm going to give you a moment. Okay. Actually, I'm going to give my team a moment to put it in the chat. But I want to know from you all, what's core competency number one? Okay, so core competency number one is all about ethical standards. Ethical standards. And basically, in a nutshell, I could teach a class on this. Oh, I actually do in our coach training program. I could teach on this for hours, for days, and some of my colleagues do already. Okay, I could go on and on about this core competency. But just for the sake of today, since we just have a few minutes together, I want to share a few highlights about ICF Core Competency number one. And I'm going to give you a moment because I know you're catching up with me. I know there's a little bit of a lag. Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. So ICF Core Competency number one, the title is Demonstrates Ethical Practice. Demonstrates ethical practice. And what does that mean? In a nutshell, I'm not going to go through all 28 standards under this core competency. Okay, so there are 28 ethical standards. I won't go through all of those. Now, if you come to our coach training program, I will. So I won't go through all of those, but I want to point out some very specific things that, I'll say it this way. I want to highlight some things that I see a lot as I assess recorded coaching calls, because I am an assessor of coaching. I'm also a mentor coach. And so a lot of coaches, I support a lot of coaches where they send me their coaching, their recorded coaching call, and then I evaluate it, if you will, and then I give them feedback. And I see a few patterns in some of the coaching calls that I review. And one is, I really want to underscore this one. I really, really want you to just take this in. One of the things I want you to commit to is understanding your role as a coach. Understanding your role as a coach. A lot of times I do see, I want to make sure I use the language that I intend to use. I do see in a lot of coaching demos, recorded calls, coaches telling their clients what to do. And I know we talked a lot about that last week, telling their clients what to do. And if I'm going to be an ethical coach, it's important for me to know that that is not my job. It is not my job to tell them what to do. It's not my job to relate to them as broken, like I need to fix them. It's not my job. Our job as coaches is to empower, to support that client with being empowered to reach their goals. Our job is not to advise. I know, clutch your pearls. Let me let that sit there for a moment. It certainly took me some time when I first got into this formal coaching industry. Oh my gosh, over 2 decades ago. I was coming out of having been director of human resources for a large organization and director of enterprise-wide training for a very large organization. I had come out of being in roles where I was expected to tell people what to do. I was expected to give them advice. I was expected to make tons of recommendations and suggestions. And then I became a coach. More specifically, I became an ICF accredited trained coach. And when I did, I'm telling you, the biggest light bulb ever just went off for me like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that it's not my job to know everything that my client John knows about his industry? It's not my job to be able to say to Samantha, give her all the tips and tools and techniques around her industry. That's not my job. So it took me some time. I don't mind outing myself. It took me some time to really grasp this new mindset, which we'll talk about a lot next week. This new mindset that says, as a coach, I don't do that. Every now and then, I may offer some suggestions and some advice with my client's permission. But for the most part, my role is to support my clients with advancing the ball. I love American football, so I'm always going to talk in football terms, but advancing the ball. My role as their coach is to support them with moving their goal forward until they get to that goal. So advancing the ball 10 yards and then another 10 yards and then another 10 yards, right? To support them with getting that touchdown called fulfilling up on their goal. So I'm telling you, I had such an epiphany when I really got this. My saboteurs started to quiet down. My inner critic that was saying, oh my gosh, Sophia, you're not a great coach. You don't know enough about servers and mainframes. Because I was coaching a lot of executives and senior managers in the IT industry. Sophia, you're not a great coach because you can't speak to servers about servers and mainframes. You don't know this. You don't know that about technology. I'm like, no, I don't. I know how to turn my computer on and I know how to turn it off. And I know how to do a few things in between. But no, in no way, shape, or form am I an IT expert. I happen to know a whole lot of them. I happen to have coached a lot of them. But no, I know that's not me and that's not my lane and that's not my zone of genius. Once I actually got that, I'm telling you, I cannot express to you all how freeing that is. How freeing that is. So I know my team will put up here on the screen. It is our jobs as coaches to empower, to support, but not to advise. It's our job to empower, to support, but not advise. And again, I'll say you can give some suggestions and maybe some advice with the permission of your client. And so just a sidebar, a bonus tip I have for you. I hadn't planned on talking about this, but I'll give you this bonus tip. What I do as I'm onboarding a new client, it's really important to me as I'm building relationship with that new client to share with them what is it that I do as a coach. So I share with them what they can expect from me. I also call them forth and I'm clear on what I expect from them also. And so in that conversation, we talk about my role, right? We talk about the ethical standards. We talk about what they can hold me accountable for and what is not in my lane and not my job. So that just makes for a great relationship. So I really encourage you all, that's a bonus tip. I encourage you all to really set the foundation in that way, to be clear about your role. Second tip around ethical standards. Second tip, confidentiality is critical. Will you write the word confidentiality in the chat for me? Confidentiality is critical. And I'm going to slow down right here when I talk about this. And first of all, I'm going to check in with you all. You see, I get on a roll. When I start talking about the core competencies, I get so excited that I sometimes forget to check in with you. Okay, so I'm checking in with you. So thank you. I see that more of you have joined us. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. So confidentiality is critical. And I'm asking you to put the word confidentiality in the chat there, in the comments. Now, we all know, right, that we should uphold the client's confidences, right? We say it all the time. We know that. Sure, we do. And yet, sometimes what I hear in water cooler conversations, in webinars, in classes, at events, are coaches divulging information about their clients. Now, I'm sure they don't mean to breach the confidences of their clients, but sometimes it can happen so subtly. Like they're the coaches, they just went to dinner, they're having dinner with their friends, and all the friends start to talk about what they do in terms of their line of work. And the coach, she's excited about the work that she does. She starts to talk about the work that she does as a coach, how fulfilling it is for her to be able to support people with moving their goals forward. And then she starts to share a little bit more about one of her clients, that one of her clients works for Acme Corporation. And that client, he has been so frustrated over the last month because Acme Corporation just recently did a reorg. Is that breaching your client's confidences? I want to know. I want to hear from you. What do you all think? What do you all think? Is that supporting your client's confidences? Okay. I want to hear from you all. I'm going to give you a moment. Okay, thank you, Sean, for putting Sean Howard. Oh my gosh, so great to see you here. So she put confidentiality. Yes, thank you, Malik, for putting confidentiality. So I want to hear from you all. Is that a breach of that coach's client confidences? And yes, you're right. It is. Now, some people would say, well, she didn't say the person's name. She didn't say what department that person works in at the Acme Corporation. I'm just using Acme as an example, making it up. She didn't talk about what that client looks like or how old they are. Yeah, you're right. She didn't say all of those things. But here's one thing that I have learned in my seasoned age is that it's no longer 6 degrees of separation. You know how we say, oh, 6 degrees of separation. I met somebody and they happen to know my cousin, and oh my gosh, it's 6 degrees of separation. I feel it's more like 2 degrees of separation, and that we are so much more connected and interwoven. There's so much interwovenness. Is that a word? It is now. So much interwovenness and overlap and integration in terms of our lives. You know, you've seen it, right? You've gone to a whole other city to go on vacation, and then you're talking to someone you just met at the restaurant, and you all happen to have quite a bit in common. So because it really is only 2 degrees of separation, I would say yes, she did not honor her client's confidences. Because just from that little bit of information, maybe someone would figure out who that client is. So I'm going to I strongly encourage you, zip it, right? That's an easy technique. Zip it. Now, from time to time, and you may have noticed, those of you who follow me and have been following me for a while, you notice that I will post testimonials from my clients. Sometimes I'll post a photograph of my client, or I'll post something that they said, maybe an epiphany that they had. Anytime you see me doing that, I've gotten the permission from my client to do so. So I want to strongly encourage you to do the same. And another bonus tip, roll this conversation into your onboarding process. So as you're onboarding with a new client, Talk about your confidentiality policy. What does that mean? What does that look like? What will it mean for them? What will it look like for them? How can they trust you? Because we are always, always building another core competency. We're always building trust and safety, always, even before we start that onboarding process. Okay. And keeping your clients' confidences is a way to strengthen trust and safety. All right. I got two more quick tips for you. I know it's almost time to go. It goes so fast. Two more quick tips. I want you also to keep in mind that when a client starts to work with you, this may be their first introduction to coaching, right? It may be their first time they've actually ever experienced coaching. It may be their first time experiencing coaching as we define coaching. You can imagine a lot of people's definition of coaching is what they see out there in those internet streets, what they see out there on the internet, which is a coach tells the client what to do. The coach lays out the action plan. The coach designs which actions they're going to commit to. The coach does all of that. That could be your new client's definition of coaching. So I have it that in our work, although our primary role is coach, I have it that we are also training. We are also providing training for our clients on what coaching is and what coaching is not. And because we are developing or co-creating that trusting, that safe environment, our clients can start to get very close to us, right? They start to really, really, really trust us. Sometimes our clients could start to look to us for the answers. And sometimes what will happen is we can create a hierarchy like this, where this is the client and this is the coach. And the client starts to look to the coach for the answers. I want to encourage you to have integrity, to pay attention to be curious about your influence in that relationship. How do they see you? Sometimes I even ask my clients that. How do you see me? After we've been working together for a while, how do you see me? Like, what is my role for you? And it's a great opportunity for me to hear from them, like, where are they placing me? What role am I in? Right? Do they still see me as coach? And what's their definition of coach? Do they see me as wearing my other hat that I wear a lot, which is consultant? Do they see me as mentor? Okay. So I want to encourage you to have integrity and be clear and curious about your influence. Coaching is powerful. So we want to make sure that we are being coaches of integrity. We have a lot of power and we want to use that in a way that supports our clients. All right. I got a couple more really, really fast. No, I got one more really, really fast. Okay, this is one that I am a stickler about. I am such a stickler about this one. Oh, thank you, Amina Kareem. I received that feedback. She said, Coach Sophia is amazing. I'm grateful, so grateful for that. So, my last one before I have to run off here, and then I get to go play with a whole bunch of coaches, and we're going to hold each other accountable. The last one is treat clients with respect. Give them a high standard of coaching. Give them coaching excellence. And my definition of excellence is I've done the best that I can. So give them that standard of coaching where you've done the best that you can do. You've come to the coaching session ready, not distracted, not eating, not looking at your phone. Okay, I know. I'm not talking about you all. I'm talking about those other coaches, not you. We want to give them the best. And this is super important. Give them a high standard of quality coaching no matter which of your rates they are paying. Ooh. No matter which of your rates they are paying. Now, if I have a client who is in my VIP coaching program, and then I have another client that's in my pro bono program, I'm going to say that pro bono program. The client who's in my VIP program may get more tools and handouts and book recommendations and all these things, resources. They may get more. They definitely get more time with me, right? Because they pay for a VIP experience. So they pay for more time. But the quality of the coaching that I give to both of them is the same. It's high. It's high quality. I'm not going to give the pro bono client less quality simply because they're paying a lesser rate. All right, I'll get off my soapbox for now, but I'll be back next week to be back on it. Thank you, coaches, for being with me. Thank you for loving this work. Thank you for being ethically responsible in this work. Thanks for all that you do to support people with having their goals and their dreams come true. See you next time. Ciao.